Hey everyone, this is Philipp, and this is the best of the week for the Everyday Fighter podcast.
It was the old school gym. It was in the back of his farm property. It was dusty. Every time you hit the bag, the dust would come off the top of it. But it was my first taste of what a boxing gym would be, and it was probably the best experience. Still one of the best experiences of my life, because it was that. Every time you walk into a gym now, if you don't get that leather smell and that sweat, that stale sort of smell, it's just not the same. It just doesn't. It's too clinical, and it doesn't have that authentic feel of what a boxing gym feels like. And this gym had it. It's the same with going into a water sports surfing shop or something and smelling that. I got a real emotional connection with wetsuit material. So I've been spending most of my childhood down at the beach wearing a wetsuit, and then scuba diving as well, doing that a lot in my adult years. That smell of that wetsuit material just takes me back to the ocean. And so whenever I smell those, smell that leather from the bag or the gloves, that real stale smell from my wraps, because they've never been cleaned before. But every now and then, if I'm just missing the gym, I'll just smell those, and it just takes me back.
Take me back, man.
Yeah, take me back. But that's a real fond memory of mine, was that first experience in the gym with Dean, and I'm always grateful for Dean for picking me up and taking me there. It was really, really fun time. There was a lot of Aussie and Victorian champs that came through that gym, and I was fortunate enough to be a sparring partner for a few of those guys I spent about 3 years at that gym. Really good opportunity. But it was being a young teenager too, you're seeing the adults there who are they've been working in the gym for a long time, real solid guys. And it was the western suburbs of Melbourne. It was the end of the train line type thing, so there was a few rough heads around, and a few of them were at that gym, and it was really eye opening to see some of the sparring that was going on in that gym. And it was just like, those guys are strong. I remember being this, I still am tall and lanky, but as a 13 tall and lanky kid, looking at these guys that actually have some muscle and stuff, you go, I'm not going to go in the ring with them. But you ended up doing that. That was just part of the package as well. You get in there and you have a go. They obviously don't treat you as hard as they do with the adults, but it was a good, if you didn't have your hand up, you'd feel it. And there was a couple of times I'd come back from a couple of days after some sparring sessions with massive. One time I had this massive. It was probably like the size of a dinner plate bruise on my side of my ribs. And I remember going to Meta afterwards, or a couple of days after that, and saying, I got this massive bruise, and he knew exactly why, and because I was holding my elbows too close to my ribs, and every time someone hit me with a body shot, my elbow would connect with my ribs there, and would just slowly start to welt and bruise. It was pretty full on. Plus, they were pretty solid hits. So it was all these things. Just you learn over time. It was really, really good experience.
There comes a point when you start asking yourself, okay, well, what am I here for? What am I doing here? What is it I'm really looking to achieve? And really, that's the first step. Once you have somewhere there you want to go, then you want to start cultivating this self-awareness, right? And actually just even asking those questions of like, what am I doing here? Where am I where am I going? That's self-awareness in and of itself, right? So you need those two things, right? You have a place to go, but then you start, kind of noticing things for yourself. And second thing is really, you got to pause, right? Do what you're doing and pause and ask those questions. Where am I at? How did I do there? Right? I do that a lot, particularly when I'm drilling, is I don't just kind of go through the motions like aerobics, right? It's like, okay, let me evaluate. How did that feel in my body? Did it feel like I had a good shot in there, or did I feel like I had good form? It could be such what if I'm sparring. Okay, how did I feel about this person, hitting me or affecting me in some way? Just asking that question when possible, then making adjustments as necessary, right? It also requires a bit of humility. I think if you're already at the point where it's such that you are self-aware, you're looking for improvement, you've probably got a bit of that already, but sometimes it that ego still comes in, and you think you're right the whole time, and you only have that one perspective. So sometimes you might need to do that check of yourself and make sure that, okay, I'm here to make progress. I'm not here to pump up where I am right now. Right. Again, it could take a while for this self-awareness to kick in, particularly in areas where it's very emotional, right? You get pulled into things. If, for example, with my relationships with my kids, sometimes it's easy just to kind of fall into the regular routine habit of, just telling them what to do their chores, clean up, and all that type of thing, or raising my voice to them. And it takes a little bit more self-awareness for me, it's a little bit more strength, rather, to get that self-awareness in there, so that I can continue to make progress in those areas, right?